Have you ever found yourself in such a desperate place that you just long so much for the Word of God? You want to hear Him. I try to practice sometimes. I get so excited to talk to Him that I barely want to stop and listen. But this morning was much different. I had been going through something and all I could do was just weep and plead, Lord, I need to hear from you. And as I read through His Word and it poured out, yes, He spoke to me through His Word. But then I heard Him in the wind. I was sitting on my porch and it was cold and I was wrapped in my favorite fuzzy robe and had a cup of coffee with my Bible. And the wind started howling, not a loud howl. I'd never heard this before, but it wasn't a howl. It almost became a whisper. And it was almost like the wind was saying, shh, not the howl. So I looked up and I wanted to know, what causes the wind to blow? Or actually, what causes the wind to howl? Of course, I Googled it, and it says the sound, the howling of the wind is the sound that's produced when the wind blows over objects and causes friction. I love that because I thought about how when friction happens in your life or force over an area, pressure, that it produces something. And it says that when this howling, or for me it was this shushing, it's the friction as it blows over objects. And then I thought about my life and I thought about that wind, and I wish I could tell you how soothing it was. It wasn't a scary howl, it was really just like a shh. I thought about that word, shh. And when you rock a baby or when a child needs soothing, you hold them and you shh. And it was almost as at that moment that I could feel that wind was just confirmation for me to shh, everything's going to be okay. One commentator said is that when the wind of the Spirit blows, it comes with life, changes things, scourges and cleanses lives, uproots negativity, and then deposits life. Oh, how I needed to hear that. But let me give you some scriptures about what happens when God allows the wind or causes the wind to blow. In Psalm 135:7, He says this, He it is who makes the clouds rise at the end of the earth, who makes lightnings for the rain and brings forth the wind from His storehouses. Here's some powerful things that God did with the wind. In Exodus 10:13, so Moses stretched out his staff over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought an east wind upon the land all the day and all the night. And when it was morning, the east wind had brought the locusts. Exodus 10:19, and the Lord turned the wind into a very strong west wind, which lifted the locusts and drove them to the Red Sea. Not a single locust was left in all the country of Egypt. The power of His wind. Exodus 14:21-22, then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord drove the sea back by the strong east wind all night and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the people of Israel went to the midst of the sea on dry ground, the waters being a wall to them on their right and on their left. That wind brought deliverance. That wind made a way. Exodus 15:10, you blew with your hand, the sea covered them, and they sank like lead in the mighty waters. In Numbers chapter 11:31, then a wind from the Lord sprang up and brought quail from the sea and let them fall beside the camp, about a day's journey on the side and a day's journey on the other side, around the camp and about 2 cubits above the ground. The wind here brought provision. In Jonah 1:4, but the Lord hurled a great wind upon the sea, and there was a mighty tempest on the sea, so that the ship threatened to break up. God was invoking His plan, His purpose. He was turning Jonah around with this great wind. Today, I encourage you, the next time that you feel the wind blow or you hear it howl, may you hear the shushing that I hear, the calmness that it gave me, and realize the power of God's wind and the power of the God that we serve, who even the wind and the sea obeys. He is the great creator. He is the great I am. He is the God who is able, and all things are possible. Today, may you be comforted by His wind and His word.